He said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you."
Thank God.
Amen.
Yeah.
For my power is made perfect in weakness.
Yeah.
Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, it was in October. I've been in the military, went through military 71 to 73. And for a year, I just kind of did my own thing, dated around. And then in October, there was a young lady that I began to start dating. In 3 weeks, we were engaged. She asked me to marry her. I thought, you know, all my friends are married, and I might as well. And at a weak moment, I said, yes. And, you know, and I went and asked her dad if it was all right to marry his daughter, and he just sat there, didn't say anything. My mother-in-law said, "Well, Norman, aren't you going to say something?" He said, "Well, if he's willing to take the risk, it's okay with me." And gave me $1,000, and you know how far that went. No, just kidding. But he did pay for the wedding. After he said, told Pam that if you go to Switzerland for Nazarene Youth Congress, or that I'm not going to pay for a wedding. And she said, "Well, Dad, I'm not really dating anybody and don't plan on getting married." But guess what? Within a year's time, she was married. And in October 14th, 1975, we didn't have a real long engagement there. We began our journey together, Pam and I. What a great journey it started out to be. It was a year later on Wednesday, March 24th, 1976, that God gave us a baby boy, Douglas Wayne Garner. 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 18.5 inches long, and he was 3 weeks early. I was on cloud 9. I mean, wow, I got my son. And had all the, you know, fathers, we and parents, we have all these expectations and dreams and stuff, you know. And I was on cloud 9, and what a wonderful day it was for me. Pam had just got through delivering a baby. And she wasn't shouting glory, but, you know, she was happy to have a baby and stuff. Well, I stayed at the hospital all that day. It was on Wednesday when he was born. And I got home that evening, and my church had just ended. My in-laws, my father was pastoring Franklin Nazarene Church at the time, and I went into the house, and it was kind of quiet, and my father said, I need to speak to you. And he began to start out that while you were back with Pam, Dr. Andrews came by, and he had asked Dr. Andrews how Pam was doing, and the baby. He said, "Well, Pam, doing great, bud." He says, "We're not sure, but we think maybe Doug is a Down syndrome baby. And we just kind of want to keep it quiet from Pam and until we're sure and everything." And so I left that room. I went to the bathroom. I knew no one was going to come in there and bother me. And I just had a moment with God. My prayer was, God, you gave him to us, and I place him right back in your hands. You see, my little world just began to fall apart. I was crushed. I went back to the family room there at the parsonage and said, "Can we pray?" And of course, they got my brother-in-law, sister-in-law were there, and we all got on down on our knees, begin to pray and touch heaven. God came in a special way. Well, Doug had John listed. He had to spend a week at the hospital. Just on Wednesday, not quite a week, and on Sunday. And the doctor didn't want us to share it with Pam, and so we did. My mother-in-law and I went every day and was there. We had to keep quiet and hoping that the doctor had already told Pam, but he hadn't told Pam. And Sunday came. I got a call. Pam says, doctor's going to let Doug and I come home. And so I'm thinking, oh man. And she didn't say anything. I got to the hospital, and when I walked in the room, she looked at me, she says, I know. Got Doug and went home, and things were going great. Took him to the doctor. The doctor said, I think there's something about the heart, and he said, I'm going to send you to a pediatrician. Now, you must understand that there weren't all that many pediatricians back then. You just took your kids to the family doctor. Took him to the pediatrician, and she looked at him, and she said, yeah, I can't do anything about his Down syndrome, but he does have a heart issue. He's got a couple holes in the heart that was supposed to close, didn't close at birth, and he's got another one. So at age 4, he had open heart surgery at Riley Hospital. Now, Doug hated needles, and we had to manhandle him. When when they took blood, I just had to literally sit in the chair, hold him in my arms, and put my arms around him, and kind of my legs around him, and hold him as tight as I could so they could take blood or give him a shot. So at the hospital, they took him back the night before to do blood work, and Pam says, you want me to go with you? And the nurses say, damn, we got this we got this, and they didn't quite understand what they were about to face. And they got back there, and sure enough. And they came out, and they said, he was age 4 now, and they said that they had 2 nurses one nurse holding both feet, and another nurse holding up his arms, and he was lifting the nurse at age 4 now, he was lifting the nurse literally off her feet. Wow. He was a mad camper. Was not happy at all. After surgery, and they told us as they were taking him into surgery, now the last person that would hold him, he might resent the one that hands him over to the surgeon or the nurse. And sure enough, after surgery, they brought him out. He had all these tubes and coming out of his body, and they took him back. So my father-in-law and I went in the room, and immediately the male nurse says, anything. We just got him quieted down. He was mad as a hornet. Now, he just came out of surgery. And when he saw my father-in-law, he turned his head and wouldn't look at him. My father-in-law said something to me. And for several weeks after he had this surgery, he wouldn't have anything to do with my father-in-law. So it's true. Little kids will respond that way. And my father-in-law, it was just tough. In 1988, we were associated in Noblesville, Indiana. Music and Youth. Had been there, moved in October. In December, Doug was getting sick of the stomach, and so Pam took him to the doctor, and immediately his blood sugar, they took his blood sugar was 723. He was still walking. They said, we're sending you immediately to the hospital. Pam said, can I go by the house? No, you don't understand. You take him immediately to the hospital. They admitted him, of course. They put him on IVs, and again, the struggle was there. They had to call in several to hold him down. It proceeded. The day came, and you know they used to have these oranges, and they let you get shots of these oranges, get in practice. And every time it was around Christmas time, and the nurses would come in, and if I were there, I would help them and hold him down and give him a shot. The day came. They say, you're going home. I said, oh, no. Just Pam and I, and Ryan wasn't that old, and he was in 5th grade, I guess, and I thought, man, how are we going to take his blood sugar and then give him the shot? We got him home. Pam prepared a meal. You know, you're supposed to eat certain things with diabetic. Yeah. Right. and she had it ready. And she come out, and Doug was sitting on the floor and said, Doug, we got to do this. We got to give you a shot. And we're thinking, oh, Lord, have mercy. He went like this.
Wow. Wow.
God knew. That we needed help.
Yes, he did.
He knew that something was going to have to transpire in order for us as two parents to give him a shot.
Right.
And I feel like God came down and just did something to him. A peace that passes all understanding came over him. And from that point on, we never had any trouble with giving him a shot or putting him on IVs or whatever. To God be the glory. God's grace is sufficient. Amen. Well, in 1991, we were in Evansville, Indiana, pastoring, and got a call to go to Louisville, Kentucky. Didn't want to go to Kentucky. I made that stupid comment, I'll never go to Kentucky to pastor. Well, you see, I got this call. You know, Indiana makes jokes about Kentuckians and vice versa. And so I get this call. I struggled and struggled and struggled. And there's a sermon with that when we went. As pastor. And on the way, before we took the church, this is what, man, you know, when you open your Bible, just kind of let it fall open. God, I need a sign. Well, my wife, she was going across the bridge in Kentucky. She let her Bible fall open and said, the Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame.
Wow.
You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. Your people will rebuild. Now, this church has been closed. Will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the old age foundations.
Wow.
You will be called the repairer of broken walls and restorer of streets with dwellings. Whoa. I told her to shut the Bible. Long story short, and after 3 weeks, and I accepted the call. And tried to resign the church board. I got up on a Wednesday after revival and just told them, I said, and we were singing, I Feel Like Traveling On, the song. And at the end of the song, I said, I just want to let you know, I'm leaving this church. I know you think I'm going to a bigger church, but I'm going to a church with nobody. We were there, things were going good, and God was blessing, and things began to take place. On December, Doug was beginning to get sick again. Didn't know what was going on. We had the doctor, they said mono, and then they say it wasn't mono, December 23rd, 1992, Doug was diagnosed with leukemia. Christmas Day was his first treatment. Our little world, you wonder why God, we were in a new situation, been there almost a year. Reopened the church. And diabetes is one thing, and then all of a sudden, God allows this to happen. But you see, the Lord gave Scripture to us again. And this is what it said. Do not fear, Pam and Dave, for I am with you.
Yeah.
Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I'm going to help you through this. I will uphold you my righteous hand. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear. I'm going to help you. Do not be afraid, O worm, Jacob, O little Israel. 43 of Isaiah 1-3 says, fear not, for I redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, praise God, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am your God. Do not be afraid. I am with you. Praise God. Well, Doug loved videos and music. He also liked sitting in his room. He had a Pepsi bottle, 2-liter, and he liked to cut paper. He had the music going. He had his video going on the TV going. And then he had his scissors. And he lined it up just perfect. And you didn't mess up his scissors. He was not a happy camper. If you took a pair of scissors to use them, he came searching and got them from you and took them back. He would cut paper. He had a waste paper basket, a little one, had the bottom there, and he would fill that liter up with, he could cut so they fall right in that 2-liter bottle. I mean, he loved action-filled videos. And I will tell you, if he liked a certain spot where there was a lot of action, I mean, he could rewind that and stop it every time at the exact point in that movie. Every time. We go back and we keep hearing, Dad! Oh, I'm sorry. And he'd let it go. But then you'd hear it rewind that thing again. And he loved his music. He could do the same thing with music. He'd been a great sound man. If you were singing a song and there were several accompaniments on one track, he could rewind a song. If he loved Southern gospel. That's great music. Amen. I think that's the only music going to be in heaven. Not sure. But anyway, he could rewind that. He loved a song. He'd rewind it and stop it every time on cue. We can't get sound men to do that. He could do it. He'd been great every time. I kid you not. And he'd play a song. He could take the record. He had LP and he liked the Downings play, I've got confidence. Love will see me through. I mean, he had that cranked up and he could lift it up and put it right on and every time. He loved music. There was one time that he was in the hospital for 20-something days. He got salmonella. We don't know why. None of the rest of us got sick. But his counts probably were down going through chemo. Didn't look good. Doug had his tape player. We had it there. He wanted to hear music, and he had it. He was pretty weak, and I don't know if Pam had pushed on because I just walked in, and it was joy comes in the morning. The darkest hour means dawn is just in sight. And he was trying to sing it. Wow. The lowest point was in his weakness as he tried to sing, Lord, come in the morning. Doug went into remission immediately when he was diagnosed with leukemia and stayed in remission. You see, if I hadn't taken the church in Louisville, Kentucky, and remained in Evansville, it would have been a 3-hour drive either to Louisville or a 3.5-hour drive to Indianapolis or Riley Hospital. You see, God knows exactly where you need to be. Amen. Amen. Praise God. If I had been disobedient to God, You see, sometimes we don't see the whole picture. God does. He always does. He knows exactly what we need at a particular time in our journey. Well, fast forward, and Doug was doing great. We got him on a pump, a diabetic insulin pump, and that was great. Doug loved Mountain Dew. You probably saw the Mountain Dew carton there on the floor. He would sneak Mountain Dew. We could hide it anywhere, and he could sniff that stuff out. I kid you not. And then he'd go, I'm sorry. He'd look at the back of the bottle if he got a real Coke, and he knew something about, we'd look on the bottle to see how many shots of insulin he should get, units. And he'd look at his mom. He loved Mountain Dew, but that was very, 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 very limited. Mainly drank a lot of Diet Cokes. We were in Illinois pastoring, and we got there in about 1996, the fall, in Illinois. We were there about 9 years. Doug began to have some issues of pain. We didn't quite understand what was going on. We had to the doctor. He'd be in his room and he would yell out. And I noticed one time he'd grab his neck and go like this. And we went on and on. We took him, they sent us to Chicago. They did all kinds of, they took his tests. They took his gallbladder out. Wasn't that. And sometimes you can have pain in other places and it's your gallbladder. And they took that out. They did heart cath. Now, you have to understand, Doug loved things that it wasn't healthy. Like hot dog, hamburgers, Wendy's. You like Mexican food, you love that. And so they said, we're going to give him give him a heart cath. And they took him, we took him to the hospital there, and they asked Pam to go back there. And they had him in the room. And they put the needle in his groin and begin to, he had no blockages. Now, after the food he ate, he was a diabetic. Hamburger. When he was going through leukemia, to get him to eat, he wanted me to go to Wendy's and I'd get him hamburger. They knew me by, I should have bought some stock in Wendy's. And there was nothing there. I said, praise God. Amen. With all of his other issues. And he kept having these pains. In the fall of 2004, Pam had been having some problems and she went to the doctor. And one afternoon she called me and said, Dad, I need to talk. We need to talk. I said, what good news was it? She said, no. She told me doctor had diagnosed her with uterine cancer. Our little world began to crumble again. Went to see the oncologist, and she was a surgeon too, and we were getting ready to take a cruise. So we went to see her, and she says, we were talking about surgery, how soon? She says, I've got an opening next Tuesday. This was like on a Thursday. We shared with her we had scheduled a cruise, but no. She says, you go ahead and go on that cruise. Now, you'll have to do all the lifting she's wanting me. She won't be able to live. And it went across the district. People began to pray. The day of the surgery at the St. Francis Hospital there in Peoria, Illinois, my family and Pam's family and a bunch of preachers across the district came in. The DS was there, of course, because she was working DS there in Illinois. And they were going to take her down, and right there in the hallway, all these Nazarene preachers are out there around her little babe. And they say, and Dia says, we're going to pray. Now, and they start praying. Now, it wasn't one of these, dear Jesus. I mean, they prayed. Waiting room had other people in it, my family, and then you had this hallway and nurses and everything on, and they're just praying like, can't be.
Amen.
Praise God. I don't know why we're so bashful and, you know. They took her down. My son and I, his wife, we were there, and the nurse came out, or the doctor, her regular doctor. She was back there, she assisted in surgery. She says, everything went great. We did a wash, whatever they call it. They said, we got it all. She will not have to take radiation or chemo, or she'll never have to go on estrogen. I said, praise God.
Amen.
Amen. God healed her through surgery. Now it's been 2004, this is 2019. Hallelujah. I'm talking about God's grace is sufficient. No matter what we go through. And He heard the prayers of the saints. One afternoon, Doug was having one of his pains. I had just come into Parsons. It was right next door to the church, and he yelled. I mean, he grabbed. I mean, he was yelling out in pain, and I'd had just about all I could take. I was in the kitchen, and I yelled at God. I mean, they probably could have heard me down the street both ways. I said, God, if you're not going to heal him, take him home. And only it was louder than that. I had talked to chaplain at the hospital. Nazarene chaplain, and I told him, I said, you know, I kind of felt bad. I told him what I did. He said, you know, God can take it. He can take it. Well, we took him to the hospital a little later. We'd been on Minister Major Tree, came home, took him to the hospital. He had pneumonia. They put him in, they had to intubate him. And his oxygen had dropped 75. He was on that for a week. We were there, and they told us that we're going to take him off such day, and they did, and they had to put him right back on it. They said, now, next time we do this, that we're going to have to put him on a trach if he does not start breathing on his own. Pam and I looked at them and said, we don't want that to happen. We want God to be God.
Right.
Let God be God. You see, it's one thing if you're healthy and you're on a trach for a while. There's another thing when you got diabetes, another issues going on, to be on a trach. His life would have been over anyway. We made that decision, and people came to us, and doctors and some nurses said, you made the right decision. We thank you for not being selfish, to keep him around just to keep him around. If he doesn't make it through after we take it off. Well, they came in and they took him off, and you know, Doug was never textbook anything medically. They took him off, and we said, well, how long? They said, oh, probably this day. You an hour or so. They took us over to a private room, another room, pretty good sized room, and we all went over there, and friends came in and from Indiana, and pastors, and everybody was there. The room was pretty filled. And he did not do what they thought would happen immediately. So he lived all through that day. We were there, and like I said, family was there. And he came to. And he wanted his music.
Yeah.
Got his tape player, his brother did. Got it over to him. He pushed the button, and it was Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was blind, now I see. Then, through many dangers, toils and snares,
Yeah.
I have already come. Praise God.
Yeah. Amen.
And then the last verse. When we've been there 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Tears were filling the eyes of all of us that were there. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. Well, guess what? Doug wanted that played again. Well, I tried to rewind it. I failed to get it. Brother tried to get it. Finally, after about 3 attempts, we got it. And it's played that song again. Doug there with his eyes open. Playing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. And then through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. It's His grace hath brought me safe thus far, and His grace will lead me home. And then when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. That song played through that second time. Doug looked over me. He wanted me. Now you have to understand that Doug loved me, but he loved his mama. Doug was baby elephant, and Mommy was big elephant. Mama elephant. If I put my arm around Pam and he was there, he'd push my arm away and he'd snuggle up next to her. He wanted me to do all the dirty things in life, like at night he could get up and get something to drink. He'd, I'd get up there, he'd run back to his room just and smiling. I'd get him a drink. I'm thinking, you could do this yourself. He'd be in bed, just a smile. I'd take it to him every time. But that particular moment, and like I said, you notice I got a tie with elephants on. We got elephants in our house all over the place. People bought us. License plates, if you'll notice out here, it says elephant. And he called me a horse. And Pam says, I don't think he's really calling you a horse, he's calling you a donkey. I said, no, he knows the difference between a horse and a donkey. Ryan was a giraffe and just named other people different names in the family. And one day on a commercial, believe it or not, he was out there with us watching TV. For whatever reason, he wasn't in his own room watching TV. And this commercial had this donkey coming across. He goes, hey, that's Daddy. Pam said, I told you. I said, oh, he don't know the difference. But anyway, he wanted me. And I went over to him, lying there, took his oxygen mask off, and he put his arms around me. And I threw my arms around him, and we both busted out crying, and cried, and cried. You see, I believe there's not a doubt in my mind that he knew that he was getting ready. I think him and Jesus had a sweet connection.
Yeah.
And he knew that he was getting ready to leave this whole world. Nobody could change my mind. And after that took place, we put the oxygen mask back on him, and it wasn't long after that he went back to sleep. That afternoon or evening, I got a little sick. I don't know what it was, and I went home, and Pam stayed all night there. And the next morning, she was there in the room, of course, and there was a friend that had been there, and Doug opened one eye. I think he was just wanting to see if Mom was there. And it closed, and he went to be with Jesus.
Wow. Praise the Lord. Yeah.
We left the hospital, and we didn't have insurance on Doug, and we went to a funeral home. This had opened not long before, and family owned, and went down there, made arrangements. We had funeral services there because a lot of people knew him. Then take him back to Indiana. And people come up and tell us stories about Doug that we didn't know, but he touched their life. We had a funeral service there at Beacon Church, and came back to Indiana, Franklin Nazarene Church that evening, and it was just kind of short notice. We didn't, which was okay. Just family and stuff showed up. That was fine. On the Sunday evening in the church, people came from everywhere. The line just kept coming. Tell little stories about Doug out the candy can. And had a great funeral service. Buried him out at the grounds, out the cemetery there in Franklin. Kind of interesting, but we got a headstone later on. We got has Mama Elephant and the baby elephant on it. And when you go out there, my name's there. On there, Douglas Wayne, right in the middle. Pam's here. Just keep Mom and Dad from fighting. Kind of strange when you go out there and see your name on a headstone, I'm telling you. But we thought we'd get out of the way. We went on, and the funeral bill came up quite a few thousand, as most of you know what funerals can cost. And we got back to Illinois church. Letters started coming in with checks. Churches were sending checks. We'd open them up. 200, 1,000, 3, 4, 500 dollar checks. Just kept opening. They kept coming. I want to tell you something. We had money. We received money to take care of almost everything. Funeral plot, limestone on the headstone. God's grace. God meets our needs. Amen. Oh, we would have got it paid for. I would have gone to the bank and borrowed it. But you see, God never fails. It's been a great journey. Doug's been gone for about 14 years now. I'm missing. I had a moment coming over here today as they sang Amazing Grace on the radio. Elvis Presley was singing. But it's been a great journey. I usually preach this message everywhere I go. I don't know what people's going through, but I'm here to tell you, through all the stuff that we went through, and some go through a lot worse, and in the midst of that too, after that, my daughter-in-law, 2 sisters were killed tragically in an automobile accident. My son and Annette had a little grandbaby that we got to take care of quite a bit during that period of time. One girl had just been married from June to November, and her sister was going to be engaged that year, that Christmas. For whatever reason, they hit black ice, was taken out. I'm here to tell you, God has been with our family, with my daughter-in-law. It was tough on her, but God has helped her. They're very active in the church of the Nazarene. It's Second Chance in Plainfield, Indiana. My son is an ordained elder in the church. I have a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be thankful for. We have 4 grandchildren. I think Ryan tried to make up for maybe what Doug. 1 boy and 3 girls. I said, God love my grandson. I had 2 sisters. I know how tough it is. But I was the oldest, and he's the oldest too. But folks, it is. It's been a great journey. God has been so good to us, and I wouldn't take nothing for this journey now.
Amen.
And one of these days, I'm going to see Doug again. I'm going to see my mom again. She passed away not long after we got here. And I lost my baby sister about 3 years ago. They're all in heaven. Heaven sounding sweeter all the time. Praise God. Oh, you better stand. Dear Jesus, thank you